Pittsburgh Steelers fans, it is time once again to get out your Bloody Marys, to get out your Excedrin, whatever it is to cure your hangover. We've got a Steelers hangover. It's an off-season hangover, but it's getting cured really quick, and nothing cures it better than a night with Tony Defeo and Shannon White. That's what I do to cure my blues, and those fellas are along with me. We are all from BTSC, BehindTheSteelCurtain.com, and we're here every Monday night. Well, except for when I'm gone, which is next week. But these two will be here on Monday night, and you'll get a break from me. So that will give the dislike button a day off. Because I get dislikes just for showing up on the screen. I even got a new haircut. I got a haircut, and I'm still gonna get some dislikes. I got more dislikes than ever on Tales from 2 a.m. yesterday, and I'm cool with that. This is gonna be a new tradition on our show too, fellas. We've got to celebrate first. So Steeler Chick 46 is first. George Teston gives us the first like of the night. So we love it. Thank you, and everybody that is taking your time out to hang out with these three dudes. We appreciate it. So thanks so much. Fellas, we are so close to the start of the preseason. Steelers are cleared to go to camp on July 21st. Today is July 12th. I'm not sure if they are actually going to it's July 12th. Yeah. Yesterday's were you giving me the were you nodding no, Tony?
No, I was just nodding no in disbelief that we're almost there.
Oh, I was gonna say
sorry.
Because you know what, something I didn't, I'm glad you did that, because I was like, yeah, because yesterday was July 11th. And my stepson Stefan turned 28 yesterday. So happy belated birthday to him. And I was gonna say, I know we had ice cream cake, so it was definitely the 11th. And his birthday is always on free 7-Eleven Slurpee Day, because I don't know if you know this, but 7-Eleven gives out free Slurpees on 7-Eleven. There you go.
I know that now.
And that's why they're named that, because that is their anniversary. They debuted on July 11th all those years ago. I think 90 years ago now. So that's why they're named that. It's nothing from when they're open, or I think they're open all 24 hours now. Doesn't matter. Some important things to talk about before we get into the Steelers. Guys, there were two significant deaths in pop culture and the world of sports today that I have taken notice of. If I did miss any, live chat, let me know. The first one's a guy that you really might not know that well. But it was an 80-year-old man that spent so many years, 26 years, I believe, as an assistant coach in the National Football League, mostly for the Denver Broncos on the offensive line. His name is Alex Gibbs. He always had great offensive lines. He passed away today at the age of 80. So rest in peace to the great Alex Gibbs. Gosh, if you know how good those Denver teams of the late 90s were.
Oh yeah.
They had great offensive lines. And when NBC showed those games back then, because they were still being shown on NBC, the AFC, they were always showing Alex Gibbs on the sideline, and he was a real big deal. It's like the offensive line coach for the Patriots that have been there all those years, that they talk about all the time. So, this is quite a loss, and Big E Bronco and Broncos fans and the NFL alike, just want to let you know, rest in peace to Alex Gibbs. Now, we end this show every single night with a homage to the great late Rowdy Roddy Piper. His tag team partner in WrestleMania 1, the main event of WrestleMania 1 in 1985, April of that year, against Hulk Hogan and Mr. T, was a gentleman named Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff. Mr. Wonderful, a WWE Hall of Famer. He passed away today as well at the age of 71. He will be sorely missed as well. A great in sports entertainment as well. So we talk about Rowdy Roddy Piper every week when we sign off, and his tag team partner from that great event. Well, we lost him today too. So I know this isn't a professional wrestling podcast, but I want to bring him up. So there you go. With that being said, gentlemen, how is everybody? Let me start with Mr. Shannon White.
No, we're doing great this evening. Just excited.
Did I not say Dante Scarnecchia's name? Oh,
no.
Okay, Dante Scarnecchia. Thank you, Andrew Wilbar. Yes, Dante Scarnecchia, a great with the Patriots. He's okay. Nothing's happened to him, but he's one of those you can't name many offensive line coaches. I know you could name Adrian Clem and Mike Munchak, but there's not many others that you could probably name. And if you do, then that's pretty awesome. Portna Quenba asks us to mention the passing of Anthony Chickalo's career. Anthony Chickalo retired yesterday. Anthony Chickalo gave the Steelers good service. He also gave them some subpar service. I'm not a big fan of Anthony Chickalo just because of the reports from his neighbors and the shenanigans of his girlfriend, like threatening and beating neighbors up. And Anthony doesn't seem like the best guy in the world from what I've read, but thank you for your service to the Steelers. Good luck in your retirement. Stay out of jail, dude. I'm just going to ask you that. There you go. Pretty quiet as far as Steelers news last week. Not much happened. Let me start with let me say hello to Tony as well. Tony, how are you? And do you expect things to pick up this week, or are they going to continue to go slow as we wait for July 21st to roll around?
Hey, Brian. Hey, Shannon. I'm excited to be here as always. And I think it's the calm before the storm this week. I think it's going to be a quiet week. Everybody's going to get their last week of rest and relaxation in before they begin the journey of hopefully number 7. So I think it's going to be a quiet week. I don't expect any signings. Famous last words, I guess, but I know a lot of people would be excited out there if they did sign somebody. I think there's always a clamoring for another free agent acquisition to help with depth or whatever. So, but I personally feel it's going to be a quiet week.
So I've got to bring this up too. One thing that did not get too much play, it happened more on Saturday when we found out about this. And Felicia, I love that you're bringing this up. Thank you so much. Ben and his happy feet trending, the need to watch the eyes and the hands. So it was brought up from a TikToker that Ben has a tell. You know what? That's fine. You can talk about Ben's tell all you want. I don't think it with as many touchdown passes as he throws, does not throw a lot of interceptions. I know he had a bad game in that playoff game. Do you think that tells a big deal? Let me start with Tony on this one.
What's the tell? The only tell I've ever known from him is when he's under center. If it's going to be a pass, he sticks his right foot back a little further than his left foot. Other than that, I don't know a tell. What's the tell?
That's the tell they're talking about.
Oh, well, that's been around since 2004. That's nothing.
Raising the ankle.
That's like the whole Cowers players thing. That's old school. That's in the past. That doesn't mean anything anymore.
Shannon, do you agree with Tony on that?
No, absolutely. He can actually, in a certain situation, use it as a decoy to gain an advantage. But every player has habits, and some things they don't even realize they're doing. It's more important for a pitcher in baseball than it is for being before the snap. So,
I don't know if you
go ahead, Tony.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I don't know if you guys remember the Tunch Ilkins' heyday, the late 80s, when he was a Pro Bowl tackle under Chuck Noll. Every time there was a pass, he would line up in like a 2-point stance almost. And every time there was a run, he would line up in a 3-point stance. It didn't seem to matter to him. For him, he was still a Pro Bowl right tackle. Yeah. So I think a lot of that stuff's overplayed.
Very true. I'm not concerned about Big Ben's tell. This is something that somebody wants to bring up on TikTok, then it hits the national media, then it becomes all kind of jibber jabber. Hey, we mentioned Mr. T, jibber jabber. So with that jibber jabber, it's great because it's more people doubting the Steelers, more people wanting to put them at number 9 in a 16-team league and a 7-team AFC playoff field. That I love that kind of stuff. Keep on, guys, national media, you do us favors when you bounce on this team. When you badmouth these guys, you put chips on their shoulders. Are they poker chips? No. Are they potato chips? No, they're not tortilla chips. They're not cow chips. They're chips, and they're chips of aggression. And they, oh my gosh, I love it. So keep on piling those chips on those shoulders. Fine with me. Let's see. Andrew Wilbar, any new thoughts on the Devin Bush fiasco? No. So the next thing I want to talk about, George Teston. He also retired 2 weeks ago. It's great. Congratulations on your retirement, George. Greatly appreciate that you mentioned that. Enjoy yourself. Yeah. More time to download stuff from behindthesteelcurtain.com and put all these likes on all of Tony's shows. So, and then you can put dislikes on my shows if you wish. Dave Shipley gives us $5 in a super chat. Now, Bad, your wife is tough. You really proposed outside an Arby's. Love it. No, I did not propose outside of Arby's. I did write that yesterday. And if you're not getting what he's talking about, that means you did not check out Have a Bad Week. Have a Bad Week is the week that was in Steeler Nation. And we talk about all things Steelers. And I brought up the TJ Watt proposal. And it was a beautiful backdrop in those pictures. I did not bring up the Dwayne Haskins proposal because I didn't realize it happened until after I wrote the article. That's newsworthy. That's great. Good luck to those guys. I love it. I actually got engaged at Disney World. And I got engaged in front of Mickey, Minnie. My wife is a big Mickey Mouse fanatic. I got a hold of a Mickey Mouse that let it set us up at Animal Kingdom so I could propose. And like I said, she loves Mickey Mouse. It's Mickey everything. She always wanted Mickey to dance at our wedding. I figured, why not? Let's get proposed in front of Mickey. So I had the ring made, and the ring looked like mouse ears. I had the diamonds assembled so they looked like mouse ears. Everybody found out about it, and they asked us to be in the parade. And it was a great moment, and everybody wanted to come up until they heard about the ring. They wanted to see the ring, the staff members or cast members as they're called. And so the best part about this was 2006, and something happened in Steeler Nation right before that. Willie Parker broke Frenchie Fuqua's record on Thursday Night Football for single game, the one that Le'Veon Bell ended up breaking against the Bills maybe 10 years later. But Willie Parker broke the record. I was at the stadium that night to watch that game on Thursday Night Football. And it was also the year after that they won the Super Bowl for the first time in 26 years. So we're in this parade, and I'm wearing my Super Bowl 40 championship sweatshirt, and we're waving to people in the parade. And this guy, the best moment, one of my favorite moments in my Pittsburgh Steelers fandom, I'm at Disney World, the happiest place on earth, and I hear, "Hey, I'm from Cleveland." But one of these fingers was extended, and I'll let you guess which one. And I'm loving it. I'm like, yes, I just got flipped off at Disney World of all places because I'm a Steelers fan. So
can't get any better than that.
So now, when I do the show, Have a Bad Week, excuse me, not the show, when I do the article, Have a Bad Week, it is supposed to be, I dub it as a narcissistic and fun column. And the reason I do it that way is because sometimes it's a week old. So I'm taking stuff that happened on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I'm recapping the big Steeler news of the day. And then to try to make it funny, like I say, try to make it funny, I throw in a funny comment. When I tell a 2 a.m. story, they're true. I promise you that. I like to throw in Arby's jokes all the time. And I threw 3 Arby's jokes in here. But I did not get, that was just creativity. Just trying to be funny. No, I tell you what, if I could do it over again, if I could like get engaged and have a big beef and cheddar, that'd be awesome. So, hey, we got the meats. There you go. Gentlemen, you can follow that if you want to.
Well, I mean, I think, yeah, if you do, hopefully it never happens. If you do get engaged again, you might as well go with the Arby's thing because you're never going to top that Disney World story. That's a great story. I mean, you were a hero.
I am definitely not getting engaged again. I promise you that. Andrew Wilbar would take Arby's over Disney. And I don't even like Arby's outside their orange cream shake. Arby's is pretty rocking. And here's a question. Let's just have some fun with this since we're at it. What does Arby's stand for? Shannon, Tony, Arby's.
I have no idea.
Arby's. They sell roast beef.
Ah, jeez.
No, that's not what it stands for. Everybody thinks it stands for Arby's because of roast beef. It's actually the Raffle brothers opened their first Arby's back in, I believe, the 60s. And the Raffle brothers called it Arby's because of that. But everybody will tell you if you ask that question that it's for roast beef, and they will be wrong. There you go. You are not going to get that 30 seconds of your life back, but it doesn't matter. We're on the hangover.
When I meet my future wife, I have a nice little nugget to tell her. She's going to be impressed.
especially when you're giving her a ring at Arby's.
Yes.
Well, that's one way to keep it off Facebook. I know that.
Tony's going to put a curly fry.
That's right.
on her finger.
Hey, with the money I make, that's probably be too expensive.
All right. So we've talked a little Steelers. We're going to talk a little bit more. Last week was a fun show. Really enjoyed it. And we talked about the offense last week. But we didn't just talk about the Steelers offense. We talked about the most important offenses that the Steelers have to go up against most of the time in the AFC North. So we talked about the Browns. We talked about the Ravens. We talked about Cincinnati. And we talked about the Steelers. And we wanted to see where they have to go ahead and rank among those. And then what we decided to do, we decided to go ahead and take those defenses up against other divisions, all 8 divisions. So let's start with this. And we did not pre-rank these like we did last week. So let's kind of have some fun with this, guys. Let's try to let's put ourselves more on the spot. And I thought that would make for more of a fun podcast. And we'll take the rest of the first half and we will rank the AFC North from 4 to 1 as far as defenses. So, Tony, I will give you the first shot. Who do you think would be the 4th ranked defense in the entire AFC North? You could start with the Bengals, the Steelers, the Browns, or the Ravens. It's your choice, my friend.
Oh, I think you have to go with the Bengals. Last year they were 26th overall. I mean, they made some nice additions, but they lost Carl Lawson, and that's not good. He was their best player last year. So I think they're 4th.
So if we're looking at this team, we've got they're running a base 4-3. Sam Hubbard is their left defensive end. You have DJ Reader, who's a pretty talented tackle. I know he played a lot of years with the Houston Texans, if I'm not mistaken. A former Cleveland Brown, Larry Ogunjobi, and I might be pronouncing that wrong, but I didn't have time to look at pronunciation and be phonetic. And Trey Hendrickson, 15 or so sacks with the New Orleans Saints last year. He's going to be your right defensive end. They are definitely improved, Shannon White, but are they improved enough to be better than 4th in that division?
Are we going to break down the defense and rank them by positions like we did with the offense last week, or are we just doing the whole defense?
We're going to go ahead and just do the whole defense this week.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree that the Bengals would be number 4. They need some playmakers. They have Bates on the back end, and I think he's their best defensive player. What is it, Jesse Bates, the safety? And but I think they have some holes spread around as they're trying to rebuild that defense. So yeah, I'd put them at 4.
I will put them at 4 as well. I think that is a defense that is trying to build a better team. They have Mike Hilton. He's going to do some things on that team as well, but we still have to look at them as number 4. Jesse Bates is great. They're not even considering Mr. Hilton as a starter, but he will see a lot of action on that team and on that defense. I think they're better. I just don't think they're quite good enough. But yes, let's go ahead with them at number 4. Shannon, I'll let you kick off number 3 because this is going to get tougher.
Yeah, between 2 and 3 is a lot tougher, but I'm gonna go with the Ravens at 3 because I think the Browns are going to take a step forward after a solid draft, and the Ravens did lose some players, and especially at linebacker, and so I would have to put the Ravens at 3.
Let's go ahead and look at the Ravens defense. I did not look at the entire Bengals defense. My error. I do apologize. At defensive end, Derek Wolfe. He's a good player. Brandon Williams, the big guy, is still in the middle, and Calais Campbell, the defensive tackle. So that's a pretty good front line. Their rush linebacker is Pernell McPhee, with him being back. Patrick Queen, number 1 pick from 2000, is in the middle, along with Malik Harrison. Tyrus Bowser, he's your Sam linebacker. This is their defensive backfield's solid. Chuck Clark's your strong safety. Deshaun Elliott is your free safety. Your nickelback is Tavon Young. But these guys, the guys I'm going to mention now, they're corners. I think some of the finest corners in the North. I would say that Marcus Peters on the left side and Marlon Humphrey on the right are pretty darn solid. Are you going Cleveland or Pittsburgh, Tony, or are you keeping the Baltimore Ravens at number 3?
It's getting boring again. It's a lot like last week. I have to agree with Shannon. I think the Ravens have a darn good defense. It's more about what the other teams, how good they are, instead of how bad the Ravens are. Like you said, they have the best pair of corners, and I think in the division, of course, maybe even in football, and Humphrey and Peters, and of course Jimmy Smith is a great veteran. I mean, the fact that that's your number 3, I guess, so he's a reserve or whatever. That's pretty darn good. And their safeties are solid. Their defensive line is solid, although it's getting up there in age with guys like Williams and Campbell. But overall, I think I like OF from Penn State as far as his potential. LJ Ford's a nice veteran reserve at linebacker, inside, or I guess linebacker for them. But I think overall they're the 3rd best defense in the AFC North, and that's more of a compliment to the other ones than it is an insult to them.
I really thought that they had a nice draft. Really did. I struggled with it. I'm glad I don't have a complete vote because I'm not so sure about the Cleveland Browns. So, Tony, go ahead. Give us number 2. Is it going to be Cleveland or are you going with Pittsburgh?
It's going to make me sound like a homer, but I have to go with Cleveland because they have a tremendous amount of talent, obviously, overall. Myles Garrett is maybe the best. Him and TJ Watt are competing for the 2 best defensive players in the AFC North, maybe even in football. If Aaron Donald, decides to retire, but even if he doesn't, they're still up there. And they have a lot of. I like their secondary. I like what's his name? I can't think of his name. I have it right in front of me. Denzel Ward. I like him a lot. I think he's a good young corner. They have Greedy Williams coming back after being hurt last year, and Grant Delpit. These are both second-round picks. They were both hurt last year, so they're coming back. So they're unknowns, but they're talented unknowns. So they could really have them take a step forward. They drafted Greg Newsome, who's already at the top of their depth chart. I don't know if that's good or bad for them. So overall, they have a solid defense. So I think they're number 2.
All right, Shannon, are you going to concur with Mr. Defeo?
Oh yeah, I think that Cleveland with Garrett they've got the pass rush. Then you have Ward and you have talent spread around. I think they have a better pass rush than Baltimore. I think that's one of the things that Baltimore lost this offseason. But I think Pittsburgh's the class of the division on defense. They've got all pros or all pro or Pro Bowl level players at every position, just about on the defensive line, at the linebacker, corner, and at safeties. So, I think Pittsburgh's the class number 1 in that division.
All right. He said it. He's already talked about Pittsburgh now. You talk about Pittsburgh, Tony, as well. And I know you've a little bit. Is there anything else you want to say about the Steelers defense?
Well, I mean, there's some concerns, of course, at cornerback with Steven Nelson gone, James Pierre, such an unknown, and Justin Lane's obviously an unknown as well. I'm comfortable with Cam Sutton as your slot corner. I don't think he's going to be as good as Mike Hilton, but then again, you never know. He's finally getting a chance. But I mean, he might wind up being the number 2 corner opposite of Joe Hayden if the other 2 guys don't step it up. So there's some unknowns there, and of course Alex Highsmith is you don't know what he's going to be able to do in the second year. But I'm very, very excited about him, and I'm excited about Devin Bush coming back, and he's going to, if he could take his game to another level, that level that they thought that he would eventually get to when they traded up for him a couple years ago. I mean, he could be a huge difference maker for them. And of course, Fitzpatrick's the best safety maybe in football, so it's hard to top him. And Edmonds is getting better every year. So I think that pass rush is going to be pretty darn good again. Tua had 11 sacks last year. Hayward had 4, but he takes on a lot. I mean, he makes a lot of people look good just by the fact that he's so active and dynamic. It's going to be I don't know, 56 sacks again, but I think they're going to be right up where they've been the last 3 or 4 years as far as pressuring the quarterback. They just bring it from so many different places. It's hard to, even with Bud Dupree gone, it's still going to be hard to slow down that pass rush, I think.
All right. That's very good. Thank you for ranking those. Last week, we ranked the divisions from 8 to 1, and we concurred that the AFC North was the best division in all of football. And we didn't just look at offensive defense last week. We looked at the division, so we're not going to do that this week. I thought we would do something fun this week, and you guys have no clue what I'm going to do here. And so I love to spring that on you. But you got one thing that Shannon and Tony have always told me, that they don't care if I just throw something on them, because this is a bar conversation, and we can have lots of fun with this. So when we come back after the break, we are going to go ahead and take each position in the National Football League's AFC North, and we are going to put together an all AFC North team on defense, and we are going to do it objectively. So we can go ahead and put that team together. We're going to do that next. It could be some fumbling around since we're not putting it together, but I think that's more fun because we do know these teams and we do know these defenses. I am going to make fun of one of my best friends in the world here, Tony. It is Odafe. Jason is now Odafe Owe. So that's I thought I'd give you his name.
Did I say it wrong?
I think Odef.
Yeah. That's why I didn't want to read the names. Remember?
Yeah, you told me that. I got your back. I apologize. Dave Shipley, $5. Tony, you or anybody going to do a Saturday noon show, call my day and I tell you guys I'm on a conference call. Makes my day and I tell you guys I'm on a conference call. Here's the thing. Tony is not going to be doing a Saturday show. He's going to continue to be on Monday evenings. He will be on Monday evenings with myself and Shannon White. He's going to continue to be on Friday evenings with the six pack. Tony said to me, he said, "Hey, as much as I'd love to eat, I'd rather have a cold one with Steeler BTSC Nation than brunch with them." So that's what we're doing there. We are going to have an audio only show. So check that out. It is going to be a 3-man show with Chris, Joe, and Paul. They have Ohio ties, but they're Pittsburgh Steelers fans. They're true black and gold guys, but they've got a nice little Ohio perspective. They are going to be showing up with a power half hour, and there are going to be power rankings and lots of fun. So check that out in our new fall season. So it's not going to be Tony, but there's going to be a show. But let's take a break. We're going to do that right now. If you're on YouTube, if you are on Facebook, just hang tight. We're going to be right back with you. We're going to take a quick stretch. Download us if you're checking us out on any of our audio-only shows. If it's wherever you get your favorite podcast, whether it be Apple, iTunes, Google Play, whether it be Spotify, Luminary, iHeart, whatever you check us out on, you can go ahead and download number 2. It's free. It's easy to do. It's a click. you can do it just like that. We'll be right back. Stick with us, my friends. You're going to find out who we think the all AFC North team is and how many Steelers are on it. And I have already told these guys, Shannon and Tony, they can't be all 11 Steelers. So we'll be back right after this.
Oh my goodness.
Welcome back, my friends. It is the Hangover. It's Monday night. If you're live, if not, it doesn't matter what time it is. As long as you're checking us out, we appreciate you greatly. Thank you for everybody in the live chat. Thank you to Tony and Shannon checking us out. Let's get going. Guys, welcome back. We've established, I let you guys pick Bengals number 4, Ravens number 3, Browns number 2, and Steelers number 1 as far as defense. And that's just ranking the defenses. So that is a lot of fun there. So we're going to go ahead and try this. We're going to go ahead and do the defensive line. And look, if they do a 4-3, that's fine. We're just going to go ahead and have your typical defensive ends. You know, I know sometimes you look at Cam Hayward and he's officially a defensive tackle, where some are going to mark him as a defensive end. We're going to do it. We're going to basically do a 3-4 here, but you can throw somebody else in that spot as if they played in that team. We don't have to be really rigid with this. So let's go ahead and start with the defensive line. And I'm not really, guys, are you concerned whether it's left side or right side, or are we going to be that rigid here?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
You know me, I'm not that smart with this kind of stuff, so it's all good.
All right. So let's look at the defensive ends here. We need 2 defensive ends. We're just going to get starters, and then we need a guy in the middle. So let's go ahead. I will give you guys both an opportunity to throw out 2 defensive ends here on the 4 teams. So I'm going to go ahead and I will throw out some names here. We've got on defense for the Browns, we've got Myles Garrett. We've got Jadeveon Clowney. They're running a 4-3, so those are going to be your defensive ends in this scheme. The Baltimore Ravens, Derek Wolfe and Calais Campbell. Of course, you know the Steelers. Stephon Tuitt, Cam Hayward. And in the base 4-3 for the Bengals, we're going to go with Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson. Let's go ahead. Let's take 2 defensive ends there.
Well, I think it's Myles Garrett's pretty an obvious choice, and I'm going to go with Cam, because I think he's just been a consistently good player all throughout his career. He had a nice run of sacks for about a 3-year period there, and last year he dropped off a bit, but I still think he's a dominant player. So I'm going to go with Cam and Myles Garrett.
All right, Mr. White.
I'm going to leave Hayward at tackle since so I'll have to go with Myles Garrett and Stephon Tuitt. I'll take Tuitt over Campbell because just the age difference. Tuitt's younger, and Campbell's still an excellent player, but getting a little closer to the end. So I'd have to go with Garrett and Tuitt.
All right. So in this situation, I've got to go with Garrett as well. It's kind of a toss-up between 3 players, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. I was thinking Stephon Tuitt as well, but it's hard for me to take him over Cam Hayward, but I'm still going to do it. I'm going with Stephon Tuitt. I'm not going to put Cam Hayward in the middle because in the 4-3, I'm considering him a defensive end. That's just the way that I was going to go ahead and do it here. So I'm not considering him for that. Shannon, you can do that. You can do whatever you want. I do want to throw in one more guy that I greatly considered, Trey Hendrickson. If he can do for the Bengals what he did last year with the Saints, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with as well. So, of course, he would make my second team here, but I'm going to go with Garrett and Tuitt. So I'll go ahead and mark that down. Tony, any other thoughts? I'll let you do a rebuttal since you went first.
Well, I was going to mention Hendrickson, but I just felt weird because he didn't play in the division last year. I just felt weird making him putting him on my all-star team. But you're right. I mean, if he has any kind of a year approaching what he did last year with the Saints, which was amazing, then the Bengals are on their arrows pointing firmly in the right direction, to quote Mike Tomlin. So, yeah, I like what you said there about Hendrickson.
Jeff Dunn saying no way to Hendrickson. He had he had 15 plus set. Was it 15 and a half he had last year? He had a very good year. I don't know. Look, is he fool's gold? Did he have just one good year? I just don't think that he absolutely stinks, but I definitely respect what you're saying. I do like that Stacy Lynn said Wolf. Derek Wolf's a good player.
And if it is fool's gold, what made it fool's gold? What made him have such a productive year out of if it's a fluke? What made it a fluke? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I have anybody that here's a question. Andrew's asking if we can use Garrett as an outside linebacker. This is where it gets confusing for me. Do whatever you want. He's listed as a defensive end. And I know he wants to be listed as a defensive end because of his pay scale. So did Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree wanted to be listed there too, right. And he made a big stink about it. Yes, Sean says, and I respect Sean greatly. I respect all of you. Garrett would be an OLB on a 3-4. Yeah, I get it. But that's just some stuff that we've got to, we're not really playing both 4-3 and 3-4, so put them wherever you want. On the Pro Bowl team, on a Pro Bowl roster, on an all-pro team, Myles Garrett is listed as a defensive end, I believe so, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
I think so. What's his playing weight, listed playing weight? Ain't he like 280?
It's somewhere between 230 and 400. I don't know, Shannon.
He'd be a huge outside linebacker. I mean, an edge is one thing, but he would be a huge outside linebacker.
Yeah, that would almost be unfair if he was fast enough to play that position.
But Dupree was drafted
to play that position.
But Dupree was drafted at 270, wasn't he?
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. This
Garrett's bigger than him.
This is just really, this is just a fun exercise. So, it's, do whatever you want with your team. If you're making your own team, like Andrew Wilbar posted his team, feel free to do that. Everybody has a voice here. And one thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to make fun of any of your picks. I'm going to respect your picks too. If you think Hendrickson stinks, hey, I'll say he doesn't, but I'm not going to get it into a shouting match with you. I'll share a beverage with you and we'll debate it, and then we'll high five and go pick up chicks if it was 2 a.m. in the 90s. I'm not picking up chicks now, but you know what I'm talking about. Or I'm sorry, ladies. So there you go. Okay, I don't know. I'm just scratching. I have editing power. I'll just cut that out later. It's like, I don't know. Gosh, I thought chicks was bad enough, but
you're in trouble.
But then we have somebody in here called Steeler Chicks, so it's okay.
Right. I'll allow it.
And then Beyonce has a song called "All the Single Ladies." All the single ladies. Come on, Tony, sing with me. Get me.
All the single ladies.
All the single ladies. Yeah, I just want to get that Shannon to stop being mad at me. Now he's mad. So. Felicia, back me up here. Am I okay? Gosh. All right. So let's look at linebackers. Put them wherever you want. Let's go ahead and look at outside linebackers. Okay, look. Stacy Lynn's backing me up. Stacy Lynn saying, oh, no, that's Felix. She's saying Chicks is okay, and she's a Marylander, so she's got my back. Steeler Chick, I don't know where she's from. Steeler Chick's got my back because she's got chick in the name. It's okay. See, there you go. They're Steeler Chick 46 and Stacy Lynn. They're members of #Bad Company.
There you go.
So they've got my back. Jeff Dunn says Steelers good. Steelers girls are good. They had the I love me some Jerry Cherry, one of my favorites of all time. And this is the greatest quote. Frank Sinatra called them dames.
That's right, he did.
And,
who's going to argue with the chairman of the board, right?
Yeah, so I'm not going to go that far. Boy, how would Frank Sinatra do in 2021? Not too well, I don't think.
He would do it my way.
Yeah. His way would be in cell block 4-way. And one of my favorite all-time people, one of my closest friends in this world, Mike Scott, he's not offended, and he doesn't offend easy, so that's a good thing. So there you go. So let's go ahead. Let's look at linebackers here. Let's get rid of this whole 3-4-4-3 edge debate, and let's just say unanimous. Is anybody gonna really not put TJ Watt on that list?
Oh no, TJ Watt. You have to. He's definitely the best linebacker in the entire division, outside or inside, probably. So yeah, it's TJ Watt. And to be honest with you, and to answer Andrew's question, I'm not doing a fantasy draft. I'm looking at my notes. I would never do a fantasy draft against my will, or whatever. So unless it's against my will. But anyway, I can't think of another linebacker that's really. If Bud Dupree was still around, it'd be easy. But I'm looking at all these names, and I can't think of anybody else. Maybe you guys can help me out. Who would be another all-star outside linebacker in the AFC North?
So we're looking at Logan Wilson and Akeem Davis Gaither for the Cincinnati Bengals. For the Ravens, that's where you might get something there with a guy like Tyus Bowser or Pernell McPhee. And then in Cleveland, you've got Sam Takitaki and Sione Takitaki, and also Jacob Phillips, it looks like there as well. So, that's where the whole debate with the 4-3, the 3-4, if we were doing that would change things. But for this drill, I would probably look to Baltimore for that, but that's up to you fellas.
Well, I'll take it a step farther. TJ Watt is the best linebacker, period, in the NFL. And I'll say in our division, Alex Highsmith has the potential to be the second best outside linebacker in the division.
Wow.
I love it.
That's a bold statement. Tony, you doing that too?
I am now. If Shannon says it, I'm on board. He knows his stuff. So
I love it, but no. You guys could call it. That's no problem. I am going to go ahead and say Tyus Bowser, but I do like the Alex Highsmith call. And George Teston says, I hope so, Shannon. I hope you're right. I think that's great, but man, Tyus Bowser, I think, is taking a step up too. So I'm going to go his way on that one. But you guys, it's 2-1. So
we'll have to keep an eye on that this year.
Yeah.
How does Highsmith develop versus Bowser?
You know what? I really think Highsmith is going to have. Mm-hmm. He's going to come alive. Will it be? Here's a question though, guys. Will it be at the expense of somebody like TJ Watt? Will TJ Watt have 11 sacks and drop down? Will he drop down to 9 sacks and a lot of action going on the other way to Highsmith?
If he gets more double teams, then yeah, that could easily happen. And Tuitt's going to get his, and so are Hayward. And then, so yeah, that could happen. He could have an even better year, but his statistics don't show it.
Highsmith is also going to benefit from Stephon Tuitt on that same side too.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I think everybody's talking about Highsmith, mm-hmm. and I love it. And I remember on draft night, didn't know him too well, and Shannon White knew who he was on draft night. So Dave Schofield talks about that all the time, and he knew who he was. But I jumped on board right away when I saw Dabo Sweeney talk about him the next day,
right?
And I also saw just the highlights of those 14 sacks. That guy goes after the quarterback, and he's pretty good. Mike Scott says the more Highsmith dominates, the more it benefits TJ Watt as well. Yeah, right. It really does. So I tell you what, I hated breaking up the Bud Dupree, TJ Watt duo, but you had to. It's just business. It had to happen. But Highsmith has got a lot of upside, and I love this guy. Let's go to the middle linebackers, the inside linebackers. It could be a middle guy if it's a 4-3, or it could be an insider. Jermaine Pratt is the guy that our lads is putting out for the Cincinnati Bengals, or ourlads.com. The Cleveland Browns, I think for Cleveland, this is the one position that's keeping them from being a completely dominant defense. So we're going to go here with Anthony Walker. For the Baltimore Ravens, we've got Patrick Queen and Malik Harrison. And then for the Steelers, of course, we've got Vinny Vici, Vince Williams, and we've got social media bandit Devin Bush Jr. So, guys, take it over. I can't remember who started last time. I think it was Tony. So let's go. No, it was Shannon. So let's go, Tony.
Well, I think Patrick Queen's a great young player. I think he's going to be really good. I think he's the perfect fit for the Ravens, the kind of player that they love to draft. So when they got him, I wasn't angry, but I was disappointed. And Devin Bush is he's just such a talented young player as well. And if he wouldn't have suffered that injury last year, he probably would have taken that sophomore leap that you always hope that these guys can make from their first to second year. He's got some issues he has to deal with, obviously, with in pass coverage with tight ends and everything. But I think overall, these are the two best young inside linebackers in the division.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at you, Shannon. Tony's saying Bush and Queen. Is there really anywhere else to go?
No, I would like Queen a lot. His athleticism, once his game and experience catches up with this athleticism, he was pretty good last year. I think he's going to be a pain in the Steelers' behinds for a while. And as long as Bush comes back 100% from that knee injury, they're both young, up-and-coming stars and the two best in the conference. The division, I mean.
So here we go. We've got one of my favorite presidents. I'm not going to say which one. Oh, Herb. I will say that. And one of my favorite rock bands, Bush and Queen. There we go. So, my gosh, we're going with a lot of Steelers here.
But Pratt is a really good young player. But I don't know if he, he's like honorable mention.
So, guys, I made a mistake. We never put anybody in at nose tackle or defensive tackle. So let's go ahead and look at nose tackle for that matter. Of course, with the Steelers, we would be able to go with Tyson Alualu. We're looking at DJ Reader and Larry Ogunjobi. I always mispronounce Ogunjobi. There you go. Cleveland, we're going to go ahead and look at Jordan Elliott and Andrew Billings, the guy everybody wanted in the first round in 2016, and Bengals took him in the fourth. What did we know? Brandon Williams for the Baltimore Ravens as well. So I'll let you guys go ahead and let's backtrack, and we'll go ahead and take one of those guys. What do you think?
Shannon, you're up.
Well, I thought we was doing the 4-3. Like I said, I wanted to put Hayward on the inside. But if we was doing that, I would take Hayward and Brandon Williams because they're both great against the run, incredibly strong, and they can collapse the pocket against the pass.
Okay, I'll grant that. But let's do a nose tackle too.
I'd have to go Williams because, like I said, he's the prototypical. You just don't move that guy, and he's more of a Casey Hampton, Vince Wilfork throwback. And as much as I hate to say it, I'd have to go with Williams.
That's absolutely who I'm going with here too. Tony, are you making it unanimous?
I'm going to throw a wild card in there, or a curveball, I should say, and it's the All-Star game week, and I'll say Larry Ogunjobi. Bengals. He was with the Browns for a while. Now he's with the Bengals, right? I mean, it's his first year. I know he's with them now. This is his first year. He spent the last few years with the Browns, so yeah, he seems like a younger player. So why not?
I think that's great. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I always thought Ogunjobi has been really tough, and that's a good pick. I mean, almost makes me want to go away from Brandon Williams, but I want a nose tackle in there, so I'm going Williams. But Tony, I'm marking that down as yours. That's pretty darn good. So let's go defensive backs. Here we go. Let's go corners. The Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm not going to go ahead and go with a nickelback. But if you want to go ahead, say Mike Hilton, the nickelback, you can. If you want to come up with nickelbacks, I'm not researching them. Corners for the Bengals, Trey Waynes and Chidobe Awuzie. I guess it's time for a break from ESPN.
It's my phone.
It's called mute, Shannon. All right, Shannon gets a demerit. Okay, let's look at. I'm just joking, everybody. I could care less. Cleveland Browns, Denzel Ward, and they're listing the rookie Greg Newsome out of Northwestern, number 1 pick. The Baltimore Ravens, Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey. And the Steelers were going to go with, of course, Mr. Hayden, Joe Hayden. And on the other side, we're taking a look at, I guess it's, our lads is listing Justin Lane, and I'm not quite agreeing with that. It could be Pierre. It could be Cam Sutton, but they're listing Cam Sutton as a nickelback. You go ahead and put him anywhere you want. You guys know the Steelers better than our lads. I will tell you that right now. But go ahead. Shannon, I believe you're first.
No, I thought it was Tony this time.
Okay, Tony, it's your turn.
Well, this one's easy. It's got to be Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters. They're just two studs, and they're just ask Juju about Humphrey, and of course Marcus Peters is just. I mean, if he wasn't such a problematic person every now and then, I mean, he'd probably have so much. I mean, more respect around the league. But he's the talent's obvious.
He's a first class wang, Peters.
Yeah. But
perfect name for him. But right. I mean, but I got it. He's good. He's definitely good.
Yeah, they're the two best. I mean, like you might hear from guys like Greedy Williams when all said and done, and I hope that somehow, some way, Justin Lane and James Pierre put themselves in the mix before the season's end. That would be so much better for the Steelers. But right now, it's got to be Humphrey and Peters.
Okay, Steeler Nation 412 saying Ramsey's greater than Humphrey. Ramsey's, I guess you've mentioned Humphrey is one of the best in the NFL. Yeah, sure, but for this exercise, we're looking at the North. Shannon, go ahead. Are you going double purple here?
No. Humphreys is my pick. He's the best in the division. And then I would go Ward. And I love Hayden. He's a consummate professional. I've been so thankful from the moment he came because we needed a cornerback so bad. Oh, and he's so, he's everything you want in a Steeler corner. But he's just, got a little bit of age on him, but he's still playing at a high level. But as far as the two best, I'll take Humphreys and Ward because Ward isn't the head case that Peters can be.
That's not a bad call there. I sided with you before, Shannon. Gosh, it is hard for me to go against Tony on this one, though. I really want to go Denzel Ward, but Peters and Humphrey, I think they've got 2 lockdowns there, and that just makes them dangerous. I wanted so bad to say Hayden, I mean, I wanted to say it, and I could because it doesn't matter. But no, I've got to be objective here, and let's go ahead with those 2 guys. I'm going with the Ravens corners, but I'm not discounting yours, and that's your pick, so we're cool. Mm-hmm. Safeties. Let's do it this way. We're going to break these down into strong safety and free safety. Oh. So let's go ahead with strong safety first. For the Bengals, we're going to go Von Bell. I think Juju remembers him from last year. Then let's go to Cleveland. John Johnson III, a huge free agent addition for them. As we go JJ3. For Baltimore, let's go ahead and pull up the Ravens here. Chuck Clark. My gosh, these are some players. Mm-hmm. Strong safety we're not kidding with strong safety, are we, guys? Mm-mm. And let's go ahead and look at we're looking at strong safety, Terrell Edmonds for the Steelers. Go ahead, gentlemen. I'll let you start. And I tell you what, I am going to let you guys go ahead and take this as I take a quick break, and I'll be right back. And if you want to go ahead and take strong safety, we'll be right back. Go ahead, take it.
You're up, Shannon.
Well, I'm a big fan of Edmonds, as everybody knows, and his value to the team is immense. Underrated for sure. His speed covers up for a lot of mistakes, especially when Bush went out last year. His speed really helped the defense stay, near the top. But I'd probably have to say Clark is the best in strong safety in the division.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you there. I was hoping that we could mix and match. Mm-hmm. I think Jesse Bates is such a good player. Like you said before, he had 15 pass defense last year for the Bengals. But I mean, it's hard to put him in front of the other guy that we're going to talk about in a bit. But yeah, I'd have to go with it's between Chuck Clark and Edmonds, and I have to go with Chuck Clark. I think he's better. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
Right now. Yeah,
it ain't a landslide, but I think he is better. Yeah.
So you went Chuck Clark. Mm-hmm. Who did you go with?
We both went Chuck Clark.
Both went Chuck Clark. Wow. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I mean, I cannot argue with that. I was not going with Terrell Edmonds, guys. I'm going against you here. Von Bell's pretty good, but Cleveland's got it here with John Johnson III. I really think that he is going to really turn some heads here. So that's my vote. So I'll go.
Who was he with last year?
The Los Angeles Rams.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, he was really good. Yeah.
So let's look at free safety. You've mentioned Jesse Bates III. We've got Grant Delpit, who didn't really play last year for Cleveland. We've got Deshaun Elliott, who I'm not that familiar with. And we've got some guy in Pittsburgh named Minka. So let's just pare it down, guys. We're basically saying Jesse Bates and Minka Fitzpatrick. Boom. Yeah. Those 2 guys.
Right. I think Minka's he's the new Troy as far as that safety, that even though it's not the same position necessarily, but he's that guy that you have to prepare for. You have to account for it on every play. He's just such a difference maker back there. He's got to be the top guy.
Oh,
Mr. Shannon
totally.
White.
Yeah, I agree totally. Fitzpatrick and Bates, they kind of play the position a little different, and they have strengths and weaknesses. But Fitzpatrick is the best free safety, in my opinion. And it maybe just because of how well he pairs with the Steelers defense, but he's the best in the NFL.
I'm not arguing with it. I cannot go against Minka. And as Jeff Dunn says, come on, no argument. We have to. We've got to make an argument. I pared it down to 2, and I'm still going Minka. Mm-hmm. So, not bad. You see how good this division is. Mm-hmm. My gosh. I'm going to take this division on defense over almost anybody in the league as well. And we're not going to go ahead and do that exercise this week that way. But, man, it's really good. The Steelers have a lot of competition here, and they've got a lot of headaches here. But when you throw in guys like Minka and Hayden, who didn't make the list, it was that good. He didn't make the list, but you throw him in there. You throw in the fact that you've got 2 outside linebackers and an inside linebacker that you're considering putting on the list, and you guys put all 3 of those 4 linebackers on the list. And when you consider the fact that you can make a case for both guys on the defensive line, Myles Garrett kind of screws that up a little bit, but you can make a case for those. But the 4-3, 3-4, that changes everything too. My gosh, you've still got to have a team of defensive stars for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So even though they lost guys, the big guy that they lost, they replaced him pretty well with Alex Highsmith, and they knew that when they were drafting him. They knew what they were doing when they brought him in. They thought they knew what they were doing when they brought Chase Claypool in on offense. They did not think that they were going to re-sign Juju, and they didn't think it was going to fall together like that. And they knew what they were doing when they brought in not only Najee Harris this year on offense, when they brought in Mr. Anthony McFarland Jr. last year. They were bringing in replacements for guys that they thought they were going to lose in free agency. They did a good job in 2020. They're doing a great job in 2021 as well. This is a stacked defense. I know I just brought up some offensive players, but this is how the Steelers think. They're thinking a year ahead each time. Pretty good job. Fellas, great job tonight. It was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
It was a great exercise. It made me think, which is something I need to do from time to time. I really appreciate it, shooting the breeze with you guys and in the live chat.
I forget about some of the new guys that's come into the division, so that helps remind me.
Hey, pretty soon we are going to be talking about preseason games. That's going to be a lot of fun. Next week, you guys can talk about anything you want. I might monitor, so make sure you mention my name at least 17 times because I'm that narcissistic. But
I have that in my notes.
Yeah, okay, at least 17. You keep not just bad. You've got to say Bryan Anthony Davis a few times. You've got to mention all my wife, Mrs. Bad. You've got to mention Bad Dad and Bad Mom.
Connor.
Both Bad Dad and Bad Mom showed up in the live chat yesterday. Connor and Jilly. I'll give you the names of all the dogs, all 4 dogs. Oh gosh. Nah, gosh. I'm taking the week off so you all can take the week off from me. You don't have to mention me at all. Have fun. Enjoy. Take care of these guys next week. They are going to do a great job. They are going to come up with a really great title. And there's rumors that Shannon's going to go shirtless next week. He already said it, that he might go shirtless next week. And Tony, who knows what Tony's going to do? Tony might grow hair for next week.
Hey, that's the thing. I'm offended. Speaking of narcissistic, you got a haircut. Everybody noticed it. I got a haircut today. Whatever. It's just more hair falling out. That's all probably what everybody thought. So, but good. You look good. You look good. You look good. So there you go.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Live chat and everybody that's checking us out on the audio only platform. Hey, we love you. We cannot do these shows without all of you. And we appreciate it. You fuel us, and that's the reason we come on here. The only difference between all of us is the fact that we're blessed to have this platform, but you fuel the show. So thank you. So with that being said, I've got 3 things that I need you all to do. I need you to, 1, be safe. 2, be true to yourself. You know sign language. Do you really? Audio side, Shannon's doing sign language. That's pretty awesome.
I'm trying to count.
Oh, so that's not legitimate sign language?
No, I'm trying to count here.
Oh gosh.
In a way, it is. In a way.
Was we on 2 or are we still on 1? I can't remember.
We're on 2. Okay. And 3, always be behind the steel curtain. For Shannon White and Tony Defeo, my name is Bryan Anthony Davis. And just when you think you've got all the answers, that was said by the late, great Roddy Piper, and rest in peace, his tag team partner from WrestleMania 1, Paul Orndorff. So again, just when you think you've got all the answers,
we keep changing the questions.
Good night, my friends.